Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be taking you behind the scenes of what it is like to be a full-time booktuber, from creating video ideas to filming and editing, making thumbnails, what it is like to run a Patreon. If you've ever wondered what it is like being a full-time YouTuber or specifically a full-time booktuber, I will be showing you in this video as much as I possibly can and answering all of the questions that you guys had on booktubing full-time. I have been booktubing full-time now for almost 3 years, so I felt like it was time to share a behind-the-scenes look at everything that I do here on this channel. I tried to make it as comprehensive as possible. It's hard to really show every single thing that you do as a YouTuber because it's kind of never-ending. As much as I possibly could share, I have shown in this video, so I hope you guys enjoy it, and let's get into a week in my life as a full-time booktuber. Okay, so let's kind of go over what my plans are for this week. When I say week, it's actually Thursday, but for the sake of this, I wanted to start it today because I wanted to film this over like a course of a week where I'm doing a lot of different things and a lot of different types of content. So you're able to like really see all the different kind of things that I do. I also don't structure my work week Monday to Friday or Sunday or whatever. So I have a heavy filming plan for this weekend. So here is my like weekly calendar where I like plan out literally everything that I'm doing, from filming to editing to uploading to Patreon to what books I'm reading. This is really how I stay on track and know everything that I have to do. So today is mostly a planning day. I am starting a reading vlog tomorrow and this weekend that is going to be like a combination of a lot of different ideas that I had, and I was like, let me just do them all in one. So it's an Instagram controls my weekend where I'm going to have people vote on Instagram in polls and choose a lot of different things that I'm doing over the course of the weekend. I'm also reading my 100th book of the year. I just logged my 99th book, so the next book that I read will be my 100th, and I'm reading my followers 5-star books. It's kind of like a mashup vlog of all of these videos that I wanted to do. So I am filming that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So today I need to do a lot of the planning for that. I want to pre-make a lot of the Instagram templates and polls so that I'm not having to spend time doing that throughout the weekend. And then today's also a filming day. I'm filming a sit-down video. So basically the two main types of videos that I film are vlogs or sit-down videos. Vlogs obviously take a longer time because I'm filming them over the course of multiple days, sometimes over the course of multiple weeks, whereas a sit-down video, it is literally just I sit down, turn the camera on, and I record the video straight through. So I wanted to do this like behind the scenes on a week where I was filming both types of videos because they require different things in order to do them. So I'm filming a book haul. So today will be mostly planning and filming the book haul because this weekend is going to be a little bit intense filming wise. I have my coffee today. I don't normally get Starbucks, but I was out of coffee and I had to make an emergency Starbucks run. I am desperately waiting for their pumpkin to come in. Until then, I got an iced toasted vanilla oat milk shaken espresso. Is that how you call it? I don't know. It's a long name. So it's about 10 o'clock right now. I think I'm gonna do a lot of the Canva templates for my Instagram, and then by noon I want to start filming the book haul. I mostly try to use natural light, so I don't like to film too late in the day where the sun is literally blasting through this window. If I can avoid using my ring light, I will. Okay, so now that I have done that, I'm going to start prepping for the book haul. Book hauls really do not take a lot of prep. Someone asked me like how I keep track of like the new books that I've purchased, and I actually keep a list in my phone. Every time I get a book, I put it into this list so that next time I film a book haul, I just know exactly all the books that I need. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna gather all of these because there's quite a bit in here. Yeah, and this is a video that should not take me too long to do. Oh wait, however, Lately, I have been doing my book hauls where I rank the books in some kind of fun way. So I need to decide how I want to rank them. It literally is pointless. It's just for me, for like shits and giggles. I'm gonna gather all the books, put them in order, prepare my face, set up all my filming equipment, and I'll show you what like my general setup is. I think I'm gonna rank them based on the cover because there's a lot of really nice covers in here, which obviously Yumi is going first because this is stunning. Also this one, oh my God. I'm gonna quickly go through, organize all of them. This is so stupid. Literally nobody cares about this but me. Just to be honest, this is the type of content that I personally don't love. I love vlogs. I do not love sit down videos. But you have to do them. You know, you can't do every video as a vlog because they take forever. And not everybody likes vlogs too. Ranking the books is honestly just a little thing for me to make the video more interesting to me and absolutely nobody else. Ooh, this is a cute cover. And it is the way that I stay sane when I'm filming content that is not necessarily for me. Like there's definitely content that I make that I love. And I'm like, this is content for me. But then there's content that I make that is definitely just for y'all. Book hauls, wrap-ups. I personally don't love making those. You kind of just have to do it because not every video can be a 30-40 minute vlog. I mean, they could, but you'd probably rip your hair out. All right, I have them all stacked up here. Now I'm going to quickly do my makeup and something about my hair and change my shirt that I've been wearing for like a week straight. And actually go look like I did not just roll right out of bed. All right. Makeup is done. I did have somebody ask me how much makeup I wear while I'm filming. It's really not a lot. For context sake, this look just took me, hold on, let me see how long my camera's been recording. 10 minutes. 10 minutes and 9 seconds. The one thing that I do is I will ham up the blush. In person, I look absolutely ridiculous right now, but the camera washes me out with like the lighting and everything. So every time like I put on a normal amount of blush and I go to film, I'm like, where'd the blush go? I look like a ghost. I do ham it up. It looks absolutely crazy in person. Like I wish you could actually see what it looks like in person because in the camera, it looks normal. In person, I look like a clown. I don't think I'm gonna do much to my hair. I'm just gonna brush it a little bit. Well, maybe I should do something to my hair. And then I'm gonna choose a cute top to wear, and then we are good to go to film this book haul. It is late. I wanted to be filming this earlier. It's 1:30 right now. Well, 1:45. I'm a little late. All right, we're switching to the phone camera so that I can show you my filming setup with all my equipment. My camera is currently plugged in, getting a last minute charge. So this is my ring light, which I'm not using right now because I'm gonna use the natural sunlight, but this is what I use anytime I'm not using natural light. But since we're not using that, I'm gonna grab my regular tripod, which I literally had this tripod since I started Booktube. So I've had this for almost a decade and it has never done me wrong. All right, so I've got my chair, move this out of the way. Once my camera is done charging, I'm ready to go, but I need to do something about my hair. All right, I'm just gonna give my hair a quick little blow dry. This is just heat protectant, blow dry spray. That looks slightly better. All right, so here is my camera on the tripod. I have a Sony a5100 camera. I've had this one for a while and you know, it works for me. I've never had any issues with it. I will say the only problem is that it does overheat pretty quickly. So if I'm filming for longer than 30 minutes, I have to stop, take a little break, and let the camera cool down, which is kind of annoying, but I very rarely film for that long in one go. Okay, also, this is a must. I have to turn my AC off when I'm filming, and it gets so hot. So I put this on the floor. All right, let's go. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing quite a large book haul. I don't script my videos at all. So sometimes I literally just start talking and I don't know where my sentence is going. I'm like that Michael Scott quote. I just keep talking and hope I find myself somewhere along the way. Okay, let's start over. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So today we are doing a very exciting book haul. I have accumulated a good number of books this summer. So we are gonna go through all of these. My past couple book hauls, I have been ranking the books in some fun, stupid way for absolutely no reason. So this time I ranked them based on how much I like the cover. So we will start with the worst covers and then work our way up to the absolute best, most beautiful covers that I would literally sell my soul for. Okay. All right, now comes the hardest part, which is taking a thumbnail picture. I hate taking book haul thumbnail pictures because it involves holding all the books and it is very difficult. Especially because it's so hot right now. My entire body feels sweaty and sticky. Sorry if that was too much information. Like, I actually cannot physically hold all of these books, so I'm kind of just gonna do a smaller stack of them. Oh my god. Ooh! Oh my god. Okay. Oh my god, it's so heavy. And then I kind of just, you know, make a lot of faces. We lost a few. It is fine. This one's too slippery, so let's take that one out. That one's slippery too. Let me add a few more to replace the slippery ones. See, what I want to do is like hold them out. So they're kind of at an angle, but it's so heavy. Okay, you got this, you got this. Just breathe. It's not that heavy. Oh my god. Let's try one more lift. Oh my god. Lift. Okay. All right, I think I got it. Oh my god. I also want to do an option where I'm like standing. Okay. Oh my god, I sweat through my ass. Oh my god, it is so hot in here. Okay, we're done with this. I'm sweaty. I feel gross. Okay, I just had like a complete freak out, meltdown, panic attack because this is like so real. I just came in here to import all that footage onto my computer and my camera would not turn on. It wasn't dead. It wouldn't turn on. When I plugged it in to like charge it to see if it was dead, it would not charge. It had a blinking red light on it that has never happened. So I was like panicking. I've been like panic Googling, trying to figure out what the problem was. Nothing was coming up. So I literally almost flung myself out the window. Like I was on my last straw. I left my camera alone for a long time. The red light has now stopped. And it is charging. The charging light is on. So I haven't turned it on to see if it will turn on. I just want to leave it alone and let it charge. I think what might have happened was it overheated too much and also probably died at the same time. Because like I said, it was so hot today. Like I literally was dying. So I'm hoping that that's all it was. But this is so real. I've never had problems with this camera. So of course, the one time that I'm filming like a behind the scenes of a booktuber, this happens. You know, technical difficulties happen and they make you feel like you're gonna die because like, I don't know what else I would do. So I'm gonna let it just sit there and charge and cool off and then We're gonna see. I'm hoping there's nothing wrong with the SD card and the footage and everything that I've done today. Fingers crossed. Moment of truth. I'm gonna see if all of the footage is there. I am very scared. The camera turned on, that's a very good sign, but I'm scared the problem was my SD card. Okay. It looks like it's all there. Oh my God, thank God. Crisis was averted. All of my footage was still in the camera. I imported it all into my editing software, and it's now 5:30. That ate up so much of my time, and all I've eaten today is a croissant. This happens all the time where I get so in the zone with like working, I literally forget to eat. It's so bad. It's honestly my worst habit. All right, I made myself some pesto avocado toast and a big bowl of strawberries to tide myself over until I want to cook dinner. And I'm gonna watch an episode of Gilmore Girls, try to calm down, de-stress a little bit from my panic attack. It is 9:30 and I am editing the book haul. So I wanted to kind of take you through my editing process for a sit-down video. The very first thing that I do when I put all of the footage into iMovie, which by the way, I use iMovie to edit. I'm a creature of habit and I've been using iMovie since I started. I'm very good at iMovie. I make iMovie my bitch. I can pretty much make it do anything that I want to do. So like, could I upgrade to a better editing software? Yes. Will I? No. So the very first thing that I do when I put all the footage into iMovie is I color it. So I go in and I adjust all of the color settings, the contrast, the brightness, the white balance. I do all that first because you want all of the footage to be the same color. And once you start cutting it up, it makes it harder to get it all to match. Then I do my first pass of the footage, which this is where I go and I cut out anything that has no sound waves. So this part I do without even watching the video. I literally just go through and I cut out anything that's dead air. And usually while I'm doing this, I will do something else. I'll multitask. I'll either listen to an audiobook, listen to music, watch a TV show, and depending on how much footage there was, it goes pretty quickly. So as you can see, my original footage for this book haul was 28 minutes. Once I cut out all the dead air, it is down to 22 minutes. So now I'm gonna go through my second pass of the footage. I'm actually going to watch the footage. This is where I'm going to cut out anything that needs to be cut. I honestly don't usually have much that needs to be cut out of my videos. I don't really do like tons of multiple takes. I kind of just roll with my sentences. Whatever happens is what happens. So what I'm usually doing here is I'm just tightening things up. I'm cutting out any of my ums. So first up, worst cover, Heir of Novron by Michael J. Sullivan. I'm cutting out any like filler words that I've had, any breaths, like if there's a moment where I just like, I don't like my breath, I think my breath is annoying, I'll take that out. Sometimes I make this like smacking sound, which is super annoying. Nobody wants to hear that. Well, maybe some people might want to hear that. I don't want to hear that, so I cut those out. This part is kind of annoying and tedious because it's just like little tiny edits. Just to tighten the footage up as much as possible, make it feel a little bit more polished. There's a lot of words that I use repetitively that are super annoying. I start so many sentences with so, basically, or all right. All right, next up, I usually try to cut those out just because for my own sanity, it's annoying. And now after doing that, the footage is down to 15 minutes and 30 seconds. So a total of about 13 minutes was cut from the raw footage. Now this is where I go through the third pass of the footage and I do any of the like editing where I'm like cropping like this, or like zooming in to my face just for a little bit of emphasis. Especially for a sit down video like this, it can get a little bit boring to have the footage just be the same the entire video. You kind of want to break it up a little bit. So I like to go in and add just a little bit of cropping and editing to make it more visually interesting. I try not to overdo it though. I do find that sometimes you can, you know, get a little too edit happy and overdo it a bit. Lastly, this is where I would go through and add any pictures that I need to add. If I have a book that I don't physically own, I will put the cover. However, since this is a book haul, I don't need to do that. So then the very final thing that I will do is I add my intro, transition, and music, and then also my outro graphics. Hey friends, welcome back. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. And then the video is done. And now we will move on to making the thumbnail. So the way that I make a thumbnail is I pose in the video and then I go through and I just take as many screenshots as I can. Any poses that I like. The more screenshots, the better. You want as many options as you can have. And then I put those into Canva. I use Canva to make all my thumbnails, graphics, everything. I love Canva. And the very first thing that I do is I kind of put the pictures all next to each other and I decide which one I like best. So I'm kind of just like comparing them and figuring out which pose I like the most. Every thumbnail that I ever make, I make about 20 versions of it. I make so many different versions of the same thumbnail, just slightly different. So that's why I really like Canva, because it's super easy to just make a ton of pages and copy and paste all of your elements into each page. So I kind of just play around with it a little bit until I finally get a design that I like. Also, little behind the scenes inside scoop, I always send the options that I like the most to my friend Sarah from Sarah without an H to get her opinion. And then once she tells me which one she likes, that is the one that I go with. I sent these off to Sarah and she said, I like the first one, we're going with this one, which was my instinct. I did like that one better. And then now all that's left to do is to upload it to YouTube. And then this is where I decide what the title is and I add all the tags and anything that needs to go into the description. And then I am going to schedule the early access to post on my Patreon tomorrow morning. I usually like to have early access on my Patreon up at least 24 to 48 hours before the video is going up. Sometimes I forget and I'm posting the video early access like the night before, but my intention is always 1 to 2 days before I am posting the video onto my channel, which this video is gonna go up on Saturday. And we are now done for the night. It is now 10:45, so that took me like an hour and a half. And now I'm gonna get ready for bed. So it is now Sunday and today is entirely going to be an editing and a content planning day. You can kind of see I sort of alternate days where I'm like either filming all day or I'm editing and content planning. And I try not to do them on the same days because it's just a lot to do in one day. So today's editing and content planning. I want to plan out my September calendar. I don't like to plan my content too far in advance. I used to plan like 3 to 4 months in advance, and what I found is that for myself, I get very easily bored by concepts and I cannot do anything that my heart is not in 100%. So what would happen is I would plan my content out so far in advance. By the time I would get around to filming something, I had already been thinking about it for so long that I was no longer inspired or excited by it anymore. It just was not working for me. So I found that only planning out my calendar a month in advance is just the best thing for me, and then that way I'm actually doing the videos that I'm the most excited by in the moment that I'm doing them. So it is time to plan out my September calendar. There's a few videos that are always very easy to do. Obviously, I've been doing the, monthly reset videos at the beginning of every month. It is also the start of a new season, so I want to do a fall recommendation video. We have this video that I'm filming right now that I know will be uploaded. And then I know I'm gonna have at least 3 vlogs. A few of them I already know what they are, but I'm keeping them to myself for now. Again, I don't like to share too much of what I'm doing because, like I said, I change my mind all the time. Somebody asked me, how do I decide what content I'm gonna scrap? I genuinely scrap so many ideas. If it is not something that I am excited to wake up and film, I'm not gonna do it. There are some videos that I start and I'm just like, this isn't working out, this concept isn't interesting, and I 100% scrap it. And there's other videos that I still love the idea, it's just not working in the moment, and I kind of put them on the back burner and hopefully we'll pick them up later. I always save footage. because you never know when you can reuse footage. For example, I read Tress of the Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson for a video that I scrapped, but I saved all that footage and was able to put it into a vlog that I did a couple weeks ago. So even if there's something where I'm like not loving the idea anymore, sometimes I can salvage some of that footage. I'm also planning out my October content, which I know completely goes against what I just said, where I only plan out my content 1 month in advance. The exception to that is October. I've had my October content planned out since like March because I love October videos. So I am planning that out, and a lot of the videos that I'm going to be doing in October, I'm actually filming in September. I feel like something that people don't see when it comes to like Booktube and being a booktuber is how far ahead you have to think. Like right now, I am doing so many things for content that y'all won't see until like November. For example, one of the things that I'm doing is I am doing another professionally recommended vlog where I get book recommendations from professionals, librarians, booksellers. The first vlog that I did for that I put up earlier in the year was so good. I need to send in like the requests for those recommendations now because they might take a couple weeks, and then on top of that I'll need to get the books, and then I'll need to read the books. That could take a lot of time. So there's a lot more planning ahead than you guys probably ever see or think about. Another video that I'm planning before the end of the year is a travel reading vlog. I don't know if I've ever mentioned this, but Gavin from How to Train Your Gavin is one of my favorite booktubers, and the content of his that I love so much are his travel vlogs where he'll go and like stay in like a haunted castle or like something really cool, and then he'll read books that are relevant to wherever he's staying, and they're so much fun. However, unlike Gavin, I don't live in the UK. I live in the middle of Texas. So my options are super limited, but I actually found a really cool spot, and I know exactly like the content that I can do there and the book that I can read while I'm there, and I feel like it will be really fun. But it is quite a popular location. It books out really far in advance, so I'm planning that right now. So another question that someone asked me was, how long do you prepare for a video? And again, it is such a variable. Like you saw with the book haul that I filmed, I planned that in an hour. However, there's other videos that take weeks to plan. There's videos that take months to plan. It really depends on the video. And I do like to over plan. I like to be over prepared, because the worst thing is when you have a video that you want to do, but once you start gathering all the things that you need, you realize that it's going to take a couple weeks. So I do like to over plan and over prepare. After all that content planning, now I'm going to go through and I'm going to be editing a video for Patreon. I did a spoiler reading vlog for the Mindfuck series by St. Abby. I'm gonna edit all of those clips. But like I said before, one of the big differences between editing like a sit down video and a vlog is that there are a lot more graphics that I put into my vlogs. And the way that I make all of my graphics is on Canva. The first thing that I always do with any vlog is I make the chapter headers. And what I mean by that is I make like the title pages for each section of the vlog. That way, when I am dragging and dropping all of the clips into like the editing timeline, I can just organize them into the sections of the video that they need to go into, because I don't always film my vlogs in the order that you end up seeing it in the video. I film things out of order sometimes. One, because sometimes if there's a vlog where I'm reading like 4 or 5 books, sometimes I'm actually reading those books all at the same time, but in the video, the way that I edit them is 1 book at a time. So sometimes it can get a little bit chaotic and unorganized, and I don't actually know where each video clip needs to go because they're all mixed up. So making these title pages ahead of time and then having all the different sections makes it so much easier to organize all of the footage. So right now I made the title pages for each book in the Mindfuck series. It is a 5-book series and my vlog is for all 5 parts. So I made chapter headers, title pages for each book in the series. One of them looks like this, and then now I can go through and put all of the clips into the correct spots. I do the exact same thing with any of my other vlogs. For example, with the Instagram video that I just did, I made title pages for the days. So I have day 1, and then I put all my day 1 clips behind that, and then I have day 2, I put all my day 2 clips there. Same thing if I'm doing a vlog where I read multiple books, and that is like the concept of the vlog, is like I read these books. I will have the title pages for each book, and then I can drag and drop all of the clips where I'm only talking about that book into the correct sections. I hope that this makes sense. The way that I film vlogs is just so chaotic because I don't film them or edit them in order. Like what you're seeing in the vlog is almost never chronological. I edit them in the way that I think makes the video the most interesting and entertaining and makes sense. But the way that I make all of these graphics, like I said, it's in Canva. Canva is honestly amazing. If Canva has one fan, it is me. If Canva has no fans, I'm dead. But like the way that I made the mindfuck pages, it's honestly so much easier than it ever looks. In the elements, you can just search whatever you want. So like I did blood splatter because it's like a thriller about revenge and serial killers. And then I go to videos. So I like to have them where it's like something animated and moving. I just feel like it makes it look more, a little bit more, like it gives it a little extra spice. And then, you know, I just do the text, whatever I feel like matches the vibe that I'm going for. You can also add animations to the text. Again, Canva is honestly so easy and it makes me look so much better at this than anything. Like anytime someone asks me like, how did you do that? And I'm like, I just did it in Canva. They're always so surprised. Also, anytime you see me put up a video where I have some part of it look like this is done in Canva. It is done in Canva. Like everything is done in Canva. Anything that looks cool in any of my videos, I did it in Canva. All right, so today I pretty much spent the whole day editing my spoiler vlog, my spoiler deep dive into the Mindfuck series by St. Abby for my Patreon. As I was doing it, I sort of had this realization that this December is my 10 years on YouTube. I realized that at this point in like my booktube career, it's very rare for me to do things that I have never done before. However, filming and editing an entire spoiler video for one book is something that I surprisingly have never done. My channel has just never been geared towards spoilers. It was never something that I felt super comfortable doing or that I just felt like was something that I would enjoy. However, doing this spoiler deep dive, I've been calling it a vlog. It's not really a vlog. It's also not super a review. I mean, it is kind of a review. It's, like I said, it's more of a spoiler deep dive into the Mindfuck series. Was just so much fun. And I don't know if it was doing a spoiler video or if it's just that I love that series so much, but I think that it's something that I want to do more, at least on my Patreon, of some of my favorite books, rereading them and doing an entire spoiler video for it. There's also a lot of like fun editing things that I added in that would cause me on YouTube to get copyright strikes, whether it was like music, different like clips and sounds and stuff from TV shows and movies. Like I can just have more fun with editing on Patreon because I don't have to worry about what YouTube is gonna decide is okay or not. The video ended up being close to an hour and it's probably one of my favorite videos that I've ever made. I'm so excited to post it. I've had so much fun with my Patreon. I feel like it has allowed me to do a lot of videos that in the past 10 years on YouTube I've never been able to do, whether they're just not really in my brand, they're not allowed within YouTube guidelines for whatever reason, or just videos that I wouldn't want to have public. I've been able to do so much like fun things, and I kind of just wanted to go through and show you a little bit of the exclusive videos that I've done on Patreon. And if you do sign up for my Patreon, you get access to all of them. I have a really big backlog of videos and content that I'm really proud of, but I've been told by many people that I'm terrible at promoting my Patreon and I don't do it enough because I really don't want to like shove it down people's throats. But like, I spend so much time on it and I love it so much. I love my Patreon community and everything that I do over there. So I'll just kind of scroll through my playlist and talk about some highlights. So, you know, we have the Mindfuck spoiler vlog. I do extended vlogs on there. I had an extra Summerween vlog that I did. So instead of just the 3 Summerween vlogs you guys saw on my channel, I had an extra one on Patreon. A lot of times I will just vlog my weekend, do like short little reading vlogs for one book and kind of just like spend spend the day with me type of vlogs. I did a vlog reading my very first Omegaverse book, which was super fun. I have a series on here called Books with a Buzz, where I drink and do some sort of bookish thing. My favorite one was this drunk book shopping. I watch this video back sometimes and I just start laughing. More spend the day with me. My moving vlog, when I moved into this house, I vlogged the whole move and I gave a tour of the house, which soon I want to do an updated house tour now that I am like fully moved in and I've decorated, and that will go on my Patreon. Very often I will vlog my entire month, and it's just like more lifestyle stuff, things that are going on in my life, not like bookish wise. I did a tier ranking of every song on Taylor Swift's Midnight's album when that came out. I do movie recommendations. Last October I did horror movie recommendations, my favorite horror movies ever. I did a day in my life as a full-time booktuber. That was kind of where I got the idea to do this. Yeah, I mean, I have tons of videos on here and I just love being able to be creative with what I'm doing and try out new things. Sometimes things don't work out exactly how I wanted to. They don't turn out the way that I did, but I love experimenting and trying new things on my Patreon. It is just, as a content creator, it's so much fun for me to do that. Today is a Patreon reading sprint day. I'm doing sprints with Sarah on our Patreons, so I'm gonna set up for that. And I think while we're doing sprints, I have a couple things that I could do. I have a few reading vlogs that I need to film intros for. I could film like a whole sit down video. I don't always read during sprints, but I usually do something like channel related. I'm going to set up for that right now and I'll show you like my little setup. So here's my setup. I do sprints in different spots all the time. Right now we're doing it in this chair, which Loki has occupied. Here's my setup. We are currently on a sprint right now, and I usually do these for a couple hours, so I should be able to get a lot of productive things done today. Should we do another sprint? Because I actually want to film this video.
Yeah, we can. Also, Riley has a very short window where she lets herself be productive, and we're getting close to again, and that's actually her cutoff.
I'm like, oh my god, it's almost 4 o'clock. I gotta film.
Also, guys, I never showed you my pole heels.
Oh yeah, show us.
This pair is really crazy. They don't have a heel.
Oh.
It's giving Slewfoot.
Just like his hoof. All right, so right now I am going to be filming the intro clips to about 4 different vlogs that I'm gonna be doing over the next couple of weeks. I like to try to film the intro clips as early as I possibly can. Like I mentioned, the way that I film vlogs is I film and edit them as I'm going, and I can sort of visualize the video coming together in real time as I'm filming it. And so a lot of times what happens is if I don't film the intro before I sit down and start reading, I feel like I can't start reading until I do that, and sometimes it like delays when I start books. So if I can do them like a bunch all at once, then I can just start reading. And also, again, like I mentioned, it's not chronological, so sometimes I'll be reading books for different vlogs. You're not seeing what I'm reading in chronological order. This also helps me to be able to organize all of my vlog clips if I have the videos already going. So right now I'm filming the intro to reading horror authors' scariest book recs video that I think is gonna be the first vlog I put up in October, and then a couple other vlogs that I'm not ready to share yet. I had a question asking to share what my audience on YouTube looks like, so I thought I could just pull up my analytics and show you exactly what my audience is. We'll look at like the last 3 months. Obviously, the top location that my videos are watched in is the US. That's 50%, but my videos are a lot more international or global than I thought, and more than they were previously. I think the US number has actually gone down quite a bit. So 50% of my audience is from the US and 50% is international, which I think is really cool. Obviously my top 3 countries, US, UK and Canada, Australia, Germany. We can go into it more and see other places. India, Netherlands, Brazil, Spain, France, Portugal, Sweden, Philippines, Italy, Belgium, Mexico, Denmark, Poland, Norway, New Zealand, Romania, Austria. Like I could keep going. Shout out if I mentioned your country, Malaysia, Serbia, Argentina. Now we're getting down to like 0.1%, but like, I don't know, it's very cool to me that half of my audience is outside of the US. So then we have my watch time from my subscribers versus people who are not subscribed. And I really love seeing that almost 80% of my views come from my subscribers versus like people watching them and not subscribing. I like seeing this be consistent with 80% of my views coming from the people actually subscribed to me. Age and gender, we have 95.8% female, 4.2% male. This number has actually gone up recently. There was a period of time when it was like not even 1%. I think a couple of the horror videos that I've done in the past year made this male percentage go up. So hello to my male viewers. I don't know what user specified means because it is, you know, the binary there. And then with an age range, the majority of my audience, 55%, is between the ages of 25 and 35, which makes sense because I'm 27 and I feel like people generally attract the audience in the age range that they're in. Obviously, when I was younger, I think that this 18 to 24 range was higher, but as I'm getting older, either my audience is growing with me or people are just who are my age are finding me. So the majority of my audience is between the ages of 18 to 44, which is a great range for me. And then shout out to the like 6-7% in the 45 plus crowd. Also, this subscriber bell notification is very interesting to me. I don't think I've ever said in any of my videos like click the bell, but y'all should click the bell to be notified when I upload, which it looks like a lot of you do click the bell. So thank you for being bell clickers, even though I've never asked that of you. So yeah, that is what my audience analytics look like for those who are curious. Honestly, I never really pay attention to it that much. The only time I ever look at it is sometimes when I would do sponsorships, they would ask to see my analytics so they can know like what my audience demographic is. But other than that, it doesn't really play into my thought process or how I make videos at all. It's just kind of interesting to look at. But since I did just bring up sponsorships, I did have a question from someone asking how I decide which sponsors I want to work with versus ones that I don't want to work with. It's very intuitive. Like I kind of just can feel out a company from their emails, if their vibes are good, if I like their business practice. I do research in the company. Almost every company that I work with, I Google their company name and then scam because I have been reached out by some that they are scammers or they have controversy or things like that. And so I try to do my due diligence with companies. Also, like I will never promote a company that I wouldn't use or that like just something that like doesn't make any sense for me. However, I currently am not taking on any sponsorships right now. I did some like in the very beginning of the year that I was still contractually obligated to do, but I haven't been taking on any sponsorships the whole year just because I don't like doing them. Not necessarily like the actual sponsored ad in my video. I actually find filming the sponsored ad to be kind of fun sometimes. It's more like the back end, the business side that I absolutely hate. I hate emailing brands. I hate negotiating contracts and rates and deals. I hate invoicing and having to like hunt down a paycheck. I've had companies who I literally had to email them 20, 30 times to get them to pay me. I've had to threaten lawyers to get them to pay me. Before, I relied on sponsorships a lot to make a living. AdSense is just so hit or miss every month. It's not very reliable. I always kind of needed sponsorships on top of that in order to pay my bills. But since having Patreon is such like a stable source of income for me, and I really don't feel the need to do sponsorship. And that's not to say that I'm never gonna do them again. I just think I'm so much more particular now with who I want to work with and only working with companies that I feel like really value me. I feel like before when I was taking on sponsorships, I was at the mercy of the brands, whereas now I sort of feel the reverse. Like I don't need to do them. So if a great deal lands in my lap, I will consider it, but it's not really something that I'm focusing on right now. Okay, I do want to step in here for a moment because I finished editing this entire video and something very funny and ironic and unplanned happened. You might have noticed I have not once talked about reading. And I have not once read a book. I feel like that is the fundamental problem with Booktube, not only as a hobby, but as a profession compared to other areas of YouTube, in that it takes a lot of time and effort in the content creation part, in the making videos, editing videos, making thumbnails, and not once in any of that are you even touching a book. In order to make Booktube content, you have to be reading for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours before you can ever even pick up the camera. So that's why I said, like, kind of in the beginning, it is never ending. When I'm not planning the videos that I'm making, thinking about them, filming them, editing them, I'm reading for videos. It is kind of constant, nonstop, 24/7. And I'm not saying that in a complaining way because I absolutely love it, but I just thought that was really funny. In this entire video talking about making booktube content, I never once even mentioned reading a book. So where I find the time to read 150 books in the year, I will never know. Another question that I got asked that I hadn't answered yet was if there's something specific to booktube that I find particularly difficult. And I was thinking about it because there is definitely something that I struggle with a lot. When it comes to my chronic illness, I have some neurological disorders, and the way that that presents itself when I'm filming videos is that I have a very hard time speaking about things that I don't know what I'm talking about. Trying to give synopses for books that I have not read is near impossible for me. I can sit there and read the synopsis 30 times and the words will never translate in my brain out my mouth. It's just, it's impossible. So that's why very often you will see me like reading off the back of the book, which I know people hate. I know that that's like a pet peeve for people. I don't like it either. When I see other booktubers doing it, I'm like, why are you doing that? Trust me, I get it. I get that it's annoying. The words literally just like scramble in my brain and I cannot get them out my mouth. It's one of those things that I know it's annoying. No one has ever actually commented on it, but I have seen that sentiment be said often of like, I hate when booktubers read off the back of the book. Yeah, bestie, me too. But I can't help it. So that is something that is a booktube specific difficulty for me because that never actually happens in like outside of booktube, but I do struggle with it when I'm filming my videos. So I did ask if anyone had questions about full-time booktubing. I've sort of been answering some of the questions throughout the video as they came up, but we will answer the rest of them right now. Do you use a script? I have never like scripted my videos. Every once in a while, I'll maybe make like a bullet point like list, not necessarily what I'm gonna talk about, but more so like the topic that I'm covering. So like when I'm doing a reading vlog, I'll kind of hit bullet points of like, okay, talk about this book, open book mail, talk about this book. Like it's very general. I just find I'm a lot better when I speak naturally. When it comes to my own viewing preferences, I prefer videos that you can tell aren't scripted, that feel more natural, that feel more like a conversation. My ultimate goal is for my videos to feel like we're just on a FaceTime call, like we're besties, we're on a FaceTime call, I'm telling you about all the books that I'm reading. Like that is my general vibe that I would like to translate. How'd you learn how to get good lighting? Lighting is literally the bane of my existence. I showed you guys like my setup. I do have a ring light, which I'm using right now. I also have my window, the blinds open. I try to use natural light as much as I can just because I prefer how it looks. Natural light is so difficult to work with. I think lighting is definitely one of those things that I'm not amazing at, but it is very trial and error. There were definitely years where like my videos were way too bright, way too overexposed. There were some years where they were too dark. Like it takes time. How do you come up with new ideas? I would say like mostly how I come up with new ideas is by watching other booktubers. I get inspired by other people very often. Also, I will come up with ideas from specific books. Whenever I buy a new book, I'm always thinking, okay, what video could I make out of this book? And a lot of times that's how my videos, like I come up with the idea because I'm like, okay, I wanna read this book, but I wanna do it in a fun video. How could I make that happen? How do you balance reading for work and for fun? Another great question. This was one of my biggest fears when I started doing booktube full-time was that I would no longer enjoy reading because it would become my job. So the way that I've sort of worked around that is that I think like 30% of the books that I read in the year, I am not reading for videos. I'm not talking about on my channel. Maybe I'll talk about them in a wrap up. Maybe I'll talk about them in my favorites books at the end of the year, but I'm not reading those books for content. I'm just reading them for myself. So around 30% of the books I read is not for my channel. And I find that that really helps me because the way that I approach reading a book, like in my free time versus books I'm reading for content is very different. Books I'm reading for content, I do feel like I need to be paying attention to 1000% and like remembering everything. Like I'm reading them like I'm about to be quizzed on them. Versus books I'm reading for fun, maybe I'm not gonna remember everything that happened in that book. I don't need to like be so hyper focused on like figuring out what I think of it as I'm reading it. I can just enjoy the process. Having the two differences has really helped me not feel like reading is my job. I know a lot of booktubers who outside of reading for content, they don't read at all. And I have heard that that is kind of like a general struggle that people have of finding that balance. And I do think that I've been able to find a really great balance between the two, which is great. So many of my favorite books that I've read this year were books that I was reading outside of content. Maybe I should do a little bit of an experiment, like a deep dive in figuring out if I enjoy books more when I'm reading them not for content versus books I'm reading for content. Okay, the next question is, how much do you make on YouTube versus Patreon? So like a percentage of my income that is from Patreon versus what is from AdSense money that I make on YouTube, and then what I make on sponsorships. Right now, since I am not taking on any sponsorships, the sponsorship number is 0, but I did do a few sponsorships in the beginning of the year. So my income coming from Patreon is about like 60% of what I make in the year. AdSense right now is about 35% of what I make. And then we'll do that sponsorship as like 5% because I did do some in the beginning of the year. But yeah, the majority of what I make is from Patreon. I do make a good amount from AdSense. However, AdSense is so up and down versus Patreon, which is a pretty consistent number every single month. I feel very stable with Patreon right now. But Patreon is the reason why I was able to take on so many fewer sponsorships and why I'm not doing any right now. If you had asked me this question last year before I started my Patreon, it would probably be more like 60% was my sponsorships and 40% was my YouTube AdSense. The next question is, do you ever want a regular job or get bored of Booktube? The answer to that is no. I mean, do I ever want a regular job? No. I think eventually I've always had the idea that if I were to transition out of Booktube into something else, it would still be some sort of video content creation or video editing. Editing videos is actually my favorite part of the whole YouTube process. I love editing videos. So if I could like work for a company editing videos, that would be amazing. I'm not, at least right now, in a place where I could do a job that is not work from home because of my health problems. That was just never something that was in the cards for me. And now that I have been working from home for myself for such a long time and it has improved my health a lot, I just don't see how I could put myself back in that situation that was making me so sick. Is doing YouTube full-time lonely? Is not having colleagues lonely? I wouldn't say it's lonely. Also because every job I had before this, I don't feel like I was really interacting with my colleagues. I think it was very easy for me to transition into doing Booktube because I didn't have like a set, stable career. I was kind of just doing like jobs. I don't know how many of you know like my work history, but I was a receptionist for a while. That obviously, like when you're a receptionist, you're kind of working by yourself. And then I did a lot of like retail customer service stuff, which again, you're not really interacting with employees. I also just really love working by myself. So we have made it now to the end of this video. This literally does not even encompass everything that I do as a full-time booktuber. I feel like if I were to show you literally every single thing, we would be here for hours and hours. But I tried to show you guys as much as possible and answer all of the questions that people had. I hope that this helped anyone who is maybe considering starting a booktube channel or trying to become a full-time booktuber. It is a very difficult route to take. It's not something that is gonna happen overnight, and it's not something that is gonna be quick and easy, but I think if you put in the time and the dedication, it is so rewarding and fulfilling, and I would not wanna be doing anything else. And I 100% would not be able to do this as my job if it wasn't for all of you, everyone who watches my videos, who subscribes to me, who joins my Patreon. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe and check out my Patreon where I post tons of exclusive content. And if you have any more questions about Booktube full-time, leave them in the comments and I will try to answer as many as I can. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!